fucking bunny costume. So, when I say what's up, Los Angeles, you lose your minds. So, what's up, Los Angeles? To share this with the greatest audience in the world, because this film is a mind melter. It is beautiful. It is full of... It's me! Okay, that's fine. No, but this is a film. It is full of heart, it is full of humanity, it is full of horror, and it is exactly what you would expect from someone like Bryan Fuller, who throughout his career has given us all of those emotions and such a range of world building. But he's doing it on this little thing called a TV. Well, no, we're not doing that anymore, because we've got this gigantic screen, a canvas upon which Bryan's work is going to be displayed, and with these beautiful speakers and in this beautiful house, you are going to be transported to a place unlike any you've ever seen before. So, Dust Bunny. It premiered at TIFF. We saw it, we begged, we pleaded, we scratched, we fought. Thank you, Roadside Attractions, wherever you are. That's the team that's distributing this film. We said we have to show it, we have to be the people to share it, and then obviously to Bryan as well, because we were like, we love your film dearly, and with the audience that we have and the people that we have in Los Angeles, we knew that this was the right home and the right environment to see this film. So Roadside, Bryan, thank you all for giving us the support to do this. Thank you to the American Cinematheque and everybody involved. Lyric, Joaquin, everyone in the theater. Shout out to Projection today. And all of the volunteers. Thank you all for being here. I think we've got about 64 days left of Beyond Fest, so you're wearing it well. If you start to flag, I have a costume you can wear. It'll pep you up. But no, this is the total labor of love. This thing Beyond Fest was created as a labor of love, as a means of giving us all a home where we can come in a darkened theater and watch incredible movies that melt and blow our minds. No one's going to see this film until it opens in theaters December 5th, so it's going to basically go on ice. So your job and your responsibility for the next two months, your job and responsibility for the next 2 months is to tell everybody you know how much you love this film, because it is really special. As is a filmmaker, he's the brains behind it, he's the vision behind it, he's the writer, he's the director, he's everything behind it. Please, Los Angeles, give it up.
Thank you all for coming. Please stay for the Q&A. I'm saying it now because you just reminded me there's also a mid-credit scene. So this movie is a love letter to all of those fucked up kids who are traumatized by big summer movies in the 80s. So it's an Amblin brand, even though it's Roadside Attractions, and thank you so much for bringing us your Roadside Attractions. But this is for all of the kids from tricky childhoods who struggled through, made it to adulthood, and movies like Goonies and E.T. and Poltergeist and Gremlins, Where Are Savings Grace? And this has the same runtime as Gremlins, which we were very conscious about delivering a high-concept story with children in danger in that format. There are so many people who worked on this movie. Our production designer, Jeremy Reed, our wonderful cinematographer, Nicole Whitaker, our fabulous editor, Lisa Lassick, our visual effects team, including Franklin, Natasha Lynn, and Shannon Lee Old, are all in the audience. So please enjoy. Let the child in you be traumatized again. And if you're parents, go see it again with your kids. It's rated R. We thought we were making a children's movie. This is why I should not be responsible for taking care of your children in any capacity, because I'll show them movies like this. Hope you all enjoy. Thank you for being here.
Beautiful film, Mr. Bryan Fuller.
Also, if there are any writers in the room that don't have Final Draft 13, I have 10 of them. So come up afterwards and we'll make sure that you get some Kara Final Draft.
There we go. Look at that. You just really I don't know what to say. I just sat at the back just smiling the whole time. It's beautiful. How does the guy who's so immersed and entrenched in making TV for so long, great TV, transition from that to this?
This was originally developed as an amazing story. So it started out as a TV show and with Amblin.
Yeah.
So I've got Spielberg's notes on it, and he really loved the story. We couldn't get it through the process there. So it was very much a TV show, an episode of TV. And when we were having trouble getting it approved, I was like, you know what, that would be a fun movie. And it feels like it's very Amblin because all of the amazing stories were designed to be Amblin movies. And I thought, I've put it off long enough, so time to direct.
How long were you sitting with this thing?
I wrote it in 2018, and it lived and died and lived and died and lived and died and lived and died over a few different studios, and then finally someone, E1, read it, and I was like, will you make it with Mads Mikkelsen? And they said yes, and we were off to the races.
Was Mads always your first choice? Because obviously you worked with him with Hannibal, so you guys...
Yes. And he's my brother and champion, and I pitched this to him at the premiere of Rogue One. One of the amazing story, and I was like, well, you want to come and do an episode? And I pitched it to him, little girl hires it and killed monster in your bed, and he was like, I'm in, let me see the script when you have it. And then it didn't make it through, and so I wrote it as a movie, and when I sent it to him, he was so sweet, because Maz is so cool, and he's such a rock star, and I'm always intimidated to talk to him. He's just too, he's so cool. And he was very sweet about how honored he was that I wanted to do it with him, and I was like, you're doing me a favor. So it's that kind of relationship. And like some of the stunt sequences, we choreographed ourselves on a Sunday afternoon with Bruce Lee action figures. And so I knew Bruce Lee was his favorite. And so I was like, let's do a nunchuck thing. And so it really was, I had no idea how cool he thought I was until we were making this, and he was going to such lengths he took over stunts, he took over so much of the production in terms of his energy and his positivity. He was great with Sophie, who I thought really So she has this thick Scottish throat, and when we found her, it was like, you're great, but your accent is so thick, and Maz's accent is so thick, and nobody will know what you're saying into the movie. And she watched TikTok videos for 2 weeks and came back with the perfect American accent.
I get the feeling there's a lot of these stories behind this film. It feels like a charmed film in many ways, and it's. You're talking about the Bruce Lee action figures and the TikTok. I get the feeling that the whole film, like making this, it feels like a labor of love for you.
It was, and it was definitely laborious in the making of it, but I had so many people around me that had my back, not just Maz and Sigourney. And Lorraine Sigourney's dress from the tea shop to honor her. So it was, Nicole Whitaker had my back in such a tremendous way. That was my big sister on this production.
Can we talk, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but can we talk about Nicole? So Nicole's the cinematographer.
Yes.
This film looks incredible. Can you share with all this story? Let's peel back a little bit. did you storyboard everything? Did you know everything in your head? Because you've been living with this as a show and then transitioning to the film and you're writing it. Did you see everything? And then when Nicole joined your team, you were like, it's like this and like this and like this? Or did she just roll it out? How did this come to look the way that it looked? Because it's a stunner. And I know I said at the beginning, like, and I wasn't trying to be dismissive of the TV work, but this is a whole other thing. And visually seeing this and on this screen, it's so sumptuous. It's beautiful. Tell us about shooting this thing and the visuals behind it, because the identity is unbelievable.
Well, we started, Nicole took me to Aerie, and we started looking at lenses, and we're both sort of, lens addicts. And there's a great Instagram, if you don't follow, I think it's called Lens Addict, that goes through, if you don't follow them and you like cinema, you're in for a treat. Just follow them. But we went to Aerie, and we were looking at all sorts of lenses, and we were talking about the psychology of the movie, and how we wanted certain things to drop off at certain points, and we were both, loved how the Batman was shot, and so we have some lenses that they were using, but we're 3-1, so we are the widest movie that's going to be distributed since the year 1917, which was 4-1, and that was Napoleon, so this is very wide, and that came about because Nicole took off the mat when she was switching lenses, and we just stared at the aspect ratio, and it was so, you could just see a little girl getting lost in it.
Yeah.
And what could creep in from the sides, and that was kind of the genesis for the uniqueness of the look.
It's not just, I thought that as I'm watching it, it's not just the little girl that's getting lost in the frame, it's also us as an audience, because it's totally, it transports you to a different place. And it's off kilter as well. As you said, like, you don't see this aspect ratio. It was interesting, I was talking to Joaquin, who's running the theater, and I was like, get me the aspect ratio on this, because it's like, it's breaking my brain right now. Well, you've got such a tight focus in the middle, but then the periphery on so many of those shots, you're just letting it just kind of dissipate. When you went in, so getting back to the very beginning, as you're visualizing this, were these happy accidents that you were working your way through, or it was like you had such a tight vision on what you wanted?
There were a lot of happy accidents, as there always are. There were 2 sequences that were storyboarded by Dan Milligan, who is a fantastic storyboard artist. And the rest I drew with stick figures. And so Nicole, I had like little cheekbones for Maz, like when it was in, so we knew it was Maz, and I gave Aurora, Sophie, little bunny teeth, so we knew what was her in the drawings, but it was very, very, very rudimentary stick drawings of where the camera would be, and Nicole would just look at it and go like, I get it, I know what it is, and she was off to the races. We had, I think we had a crane a couple of days, but we had this wonderful Hungarian crewman who would come up every day and say, how long do you want the crane today? And he, 60 feet, can we do 60 feet? And he would start strapping scaffolding together with belts, and would build us a crane every morning because we could only afford to have it a couple of days. So we had a man-made crane almost every day.
How long was the shoot? It was Budapest. The whole thing was Budapest?
Everything was Budapest, and it was a 44-day shoot with a monster and a little girl, which always seems intimidating. And once again, we had a lot of wonderful help. Everybody was stepping up in a way, because it was a challenging production, especially most of the crew didn't speak English, and so we really had to rally, and everybody kind of came together in a way that made me feel loved.
And your cast as well, I assume. I mean, you talked about Sophie, but Mads was in, because you got this mind melt. Where did Sigourney come into the process?
Well, Sigourney was always at the back of my mind because I love the plays of Christopher Durang, and he has a very dry, absurdist wit, and that was kind of in my mind as I was writing it. And she is a frequent collaborator, was a frequent collaborator with Christopher, and her comedy is so specific, and she never plays the joke. She always plays that she is the joke. And I met with her, and we had such a fun conversation, and we talked a lot about, it was interesting because it's fun to see this movie at the Egyptian because Alien premiered here in '79, and the Space Jockey was out there, so it's wonderful symmetry that we're here tonight with Beyond Fest, and she's just a really good time, and she also will stick her neck out for you.
Yeah.
And that was really fun to see because she didn't have to, and she only came in for a couple of weeks. And we're also David Dastmalchian, who is criminal scene still, that he is, and Rebecca Henderson, who is the other intimidating woman. And they came in, we were in the middle of the strike, and I was like, you guys are gonna have to ad-lib some stuff because I can't tell you what to do and I can't tell you what to say if it's not already written. So a lot of that stuff in the hallway with the, that's all improvised by Rebecca and David because I couldn't be part of that process.
That's crazy, but you wouldn't change a frame, right? I mean, it's perfect. The relationship that they have, the relationship that Mads has with Sigourney, and then Mads back to Sophie. What did they do to bond? Because and how did that relationship change through the 40 plus days that you were shooting?
Well, Sophie had sort of three buttresses: myself, Maz, and I think one of the smartest things I did on the movie is hire basically an acting coach / concierge. We always talk about, for adults, intimacy coordinators on a set. But a very good friend of mine, Lena, who plays the mom who gets eaten very early on, she's sort of Danish Jodie Foster and was a child actor of note in Denmark. And she's like, if you're working with a child, hire an acting coach that can maintain the bubble so they can still be a child and go to an adult place and navigate it with as much care and support as possible. And so the three of us would just huddle around Sophie and go through scene by scene, and it really was three parents making sure that the worst thing for me that could have happened is if Sophie did this movie and she was like, that was fucked up. I had a terrible experience. I had my childhood taken away. And instead, I think we gave her a beautiful childhood memory, and I'm very proud of that.
What did she see of the dust? What did she see of the Dust Bunny on set? What was the practical and because obviously you're playing with effects and then practical. What did she see?
We had a giant bunny built.
Not like the one I was wearing, guys.
Not
good.
Close. A big head and arms, and so it was really fun to bring her in, and we filmed it and took pictures of her gasping, of this little girl, and she's itty bitty, and this massive bunny, and she was like, he's not scary, he's cute, and it was like, good.
Yeah. Bryan, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out. Bryan Fuller, everybody. Thank you so much.
Can we throw out t-shirts?
Let's throw out t-shirts. Let's throw out some t-shirts. Grab some. Yes, yes, yes.